So I just got done speedrunning the Gods and Glamour Star Path so I could unlock all the new furniture items in this update. I will be using them in a build for Hercules and Phil in their new home. I feel like the best place to put them is Mythopia. That makes the most sense to me. I hadn't really done any building here yet. This has given me the excuse to finally start doing that. We're going to do our first build in the Mount Olympus part of Mythopia. I feel like that makes the most sense for Hercules. I did speedrun the Gods and Glamour Star Path to unlock a lot of the new furniture items, so I could use them in this build, as well as this outfit you're seeing here, because priorities. But without further ado, let's get into the build. So I've already cleared out Mount Olympus and put down a lot of the pieces from both the Star Path, some of the new Scrooge items, as well as some older things that we had from other bundles in the Premium Shop, as well as the new Premium Shop bundle, and obviously Herc's house. I think the direction I want to go is putting his house on this smaller side so I can do kind of like a driveway leading up to it. And then I might flank it with these gazebos. One thing I don't love about this item is that this fountain is on, like, faces out. So if I were to put the opening on this side, the statue's just staring away. So that was an odd, odd decision to not have that face in toward the fountain. But it is what it is. We're gonna put these on either side. And then, so they have these pieces I was thinking about using as like pathing. Obviously I don't have very many, but we can use the new decor mode to make this a preset. And then I can place as many as I want. I'm thinking of like the path having plants in the middle or even water. I don't know how well this curved bit is gonna go. Yeah, it's not gonna line up like I want it to. Maybe I can just make this section like a big open spot so that it doesn't have to be lined up. So with this new Mirage thing, you just walk up to the Mirage and interact with it, and then you can just buy whatever it was. Would love to be able to do this in bulk, but baby steps. I will take what I can get at this point. Don't love the switching back and forth from decor mode, and I wish these could overlap, like, at all. Because I have a feeling I can't place this last one. Oh, I can. Yes. Now my other thought is filling all this in with the brick pathing, the gold brick pathing. Or do I leave it grown like this? So I don't love how, like, the grass is clipping through. How much of that pathing do I have? Let's just see what it looks like. Not good. Maybe if I do the not bordered one. Okay, that doesn't look as terrible. But it's not the same shade of gold as the other path. Do I do sand? I have a lot of sand from the Tatooine pack. Okay, okay. And then I can just... Don't actually know how you get more of this sand. I'm assuming you can buy it from Scrooge, considering this was a premium shop option. Don't want to cut off too much access to the water. What I try to do with my builds is leave them as functional as possible. Like, I don't want to block any of these mining nodes, so those will all still need to be accessible. But I also want to be able to access the water as easily as possible. Always remember to come out of furniture mode every now and then, because sometimes things don't save. I like this cloud. Wonder if that could be like a nice centerpiece. The sundial could go right underneath it. So the house is over there. The arena could be like a centerpiece of this part, or maybe it's on a diagonal and it's in this corner. Do we only have one direction of this column? Oh no, I've got two. Oof. That will allow for pathing to the other parts of the area. I feel like most people are going to be using this preset system, this group mode, quote unquote, system, the same way I am, which is just for one item at a time to create duplicates of it. Because I feel like it's more useful in like preventing you from having to go back to Scrooge's than it is the way I think they intended it. See, sometimes it doesn't have the 16-point rotation. It's just the 4-point. I don't understand. You also can't duplicate the Mirage. You have to go back into the preset menu every time. So when you're using these presets, it does automatically switch you back to group mode, which is annoying. So you have to switch back to do anything with the rest of your decor. But again, baby steps, moving in the right direction. I've been playing this game since the base game released, and we have made light years of improvements in that time, I would say, to the building parts of this game. It used to be much more difficult. Trying to do curved pathing on a 4-point rotation was the bane of my existence. A lot of my original biomes are still utilizing the pathing I built during that time because it was so difficult, and I don't want to delete it because of how much work went into making it, but it still holds up, in my opinion. All right, there is our arena. Honestly, let's put this in there. People just come here to watch Herc work out, I think is what this arena is, to be quite honest. I don't think I'm spelling column right, but I don't really care. Did 2 tall ones and 2 short ones. Yeah, it's weird that these presets put you back in a 4-point rotation, because I thought the main point of this was to be able to just completely build your build with the Mirages in place and then go around and buy the stuff. But if you can only 16-point rotate on bought stuff, then that's going to make this a bit less useful. Although you can include Mirages in your presets, which is interesting. I don't usually go into my Dreamlight Valley builds with like a huge amount of plan in place, because I feel like that prevents me from being as creative as I could be with things. Like I'll do things because I'm just like seeing how it looks and I'm like, oh my gosh, I like that. So I don't typically plan too far. Like I knew today I was coming in here to use the new stuff to build a home for Hercules, and that was about it. And so far, I think it's going well. Am I delusional? I don't know. The pricing seems to be pretty good on a lot of this stuff too, as far as Scrooge is concerned. Like sometimes they put things like 25,000 gold, and I'm like, why? But all of his columns were only in the like 3,000-ish, depending on the size. So I feel like that's pretty fair. I do want to start some like foliage, but what I should probably be doing first is pathing everything out and then coming in with the details, because this is going to require a lot of pathing. We're going to do a gardens over here, path out right here. I wish we had this pathing just in the game, because then I could just match to this. Like we got the ancient pathing that matches a lot of this kind of thing in Eternity Isle. We did not get a version of that for Storybook. Like there's this bit here, then there's also this bit down here that I would love to be able to match stuff to, but like all we could really do is just build over it, which seems like such a waste of an asset. Also off topic, but this is known as the Fiery Plains, but like what is fiery about this? It's like the most green part of Mythopia. It's like it's the giving the least amount of fiery. So why is it called the Fiery Plains? So I think pathing wise, I'm gonna continue to use the sand, but I don't think I'm gonna border all of it like I did for his house. That may need to be the only place that has that border. The other things I want to build, kind of want like some kind of temple. Maybe I could do that right here. Keep in mind that there's a rock node back there. Don't want to lose that. Is that giving temple? It's kind of like a temple compound situation. Can I fit through these columns to get to that rock? Only one way to find out. Yes! Okay, thank God. Note to everyone, you can fit through this gap. This is gonna be like some kind of temple to one of the gods. Excuse me. Why can't I? Why doesn't this snap in? That is so stupid. They should have also done a goofy stall per section of each biome because I feel like one per all of Mythopia is like, these biomes are too big to treat them like one biome. I'm glad we got wells for all of them because that was not the case in Eternity Isle, but I think they tried to fix that with Goofy's stall with Wish Blossom Ranch and the stupid train cart, but honestly, hate that. Can never find him. He's creepy. He follows you around. He stops in the worst possible places. Like, no, I don't like it. Just give me one Goofy stall per every biome. Thank you. And when I say biome, I mean all the individual places within each larger biome. So Mount Olympus gets one, Statue of Shadow gets one, Fiery Plains gets one, Elysian Fields gets one. This should not be all considered one biome because it's 4 different zones. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Oh my. I feel like this build is determined. Why didn't they just give us this as like a path? Is it because of this curved part? Because they should have probably used this as an excuse to make actually curved pathing. Maybe if I just break it up in the middle. Why isn't this lining up though? Because it should definitely be lining up. Oh, because this isn't lined up. We can maybe cover that with something or do this. Just act like that was intentional. And then maybe we can cover that with something. These bushes have come in quite handy for covering up the undesirable bits. And then we'll fill the rest in with sand again, unless I wanted to put something else in here. Could do this just as you approach the altar. I kind of forgot that the black was not what they were actually going to look like. So I was wondering if this doesn't really go. Should I just do the whole thing in sand? I think I should. I guess I could test with other stuff too now that I'm brick. That's not horrible, actually. See, I don't hate this, but I don't like that there's not a border this version of this one. Sand. Yep. The answer is sand. So if you're wondering if you should pick up this sand thing from the premium shop next time you see it, probably should. It is very good for this type of build. I'm also trying to keep in mind as I build this, the Dream Snap is very Hercules coded this week. I mean, it could be Tinkerbell or something else, but like, I feel like it's topical to do Hercules. So I might include something in this build to incorporate the Dream Snap, just to have kill 2 birds with 1 stone, if you will. Now I gotta think up a way to make this more altar-like because I'm currently not getting. Should I move this? Yeah, not quite getting altar vibes, like temple to a god or what have you. We'll come back in with details after we get all the pathing done. I love how Pegasus's house is blue. Well, I guess there's blue in a lot of the other parts of the build too, so it's fine. Could be a temple to Ares, god of war, or the muses, or Phil. Actually, should Phil be at the entrance? I think that makes more sense, actually. So something you'll probably notice if I have more of these types of builds, I try to keep things very natural because I don't want to like block a lot of the terrain. I want to allow things to still be able to spawn in these zones. So typically I'll have curved pathing with very natural tie-in to the biome that it's in. So don't expect things to be super structured in terms of like the layout of each biome. I don't love squares. I like rounding things off. So what I'm going to do now that I have the main buildings sort of plotted in, I'm going to focus on the pathing. Portal is going to go around here. I'm not sure what's going to go over in this area. We'll figure that out. But we're going to switch gears a little bit to path out the biome. We're going to do that with this sand. I'd like to keep my paths fairly wide. I want to keep in mind, one, that I might come through here on a horse, as unlikely as that might be, because I don't really use the horses that often, but I just want to keep that possibility open, which does require the paths to be fairly large. I don't love how this is not lining up. I don't understand why it's not. It's lined up everywhere else. Why is it not lining up with the path? I may just have to make it a bit wider and do bushes again. Kind of obfuscate that this isn't necessarily lined up. What we'll also do is approach this at an angle, so it's harder to tell that it's not fully lined up. I don't understand why it's not lined up because everything was pretty systematically placed, but it is what it is. Pathing is one of those things in this game that you've really just got to mess around with a lot until you get it how you want it. That's going to be a trust the process moment. When we come back to this and line the path, it should hopefully appear more lined up. I might be the only one that's noticing how misaligned it is. I'm definitely glad that the sand pathing came out when it did, because it really is helping a lot with this build. I feel like this wouldn't have worked as well with any of the other paths, other than maybe like the white brick. I think this little section here is going to be like the village square, if you will. I think we can actually utilize some of this stuff for that. Then we can just fill in this whole spot with sand. Might have to get more sand. Hopefully I can just buy it. Now that I'm looking at this, I'm almost wondering if I need to extend the arena so that it lines up with these pillars better. Wish we could move these pillars at all. No, we'll do something else. There's a big tree we can put there. So I've been pondering what to put over in this empty section. And like I was already planning on doing a lot of garden in this area, but I wonder if this garden area should specifically be like a garden for like the one that Meg was in during I Won't Say I'm in Love, because it works because my plan eventually is to have the fiery plains, even though they're not very fiery, be where I put Hades and kind of build to him. So like if that's kind of quote unquote the underworld, having her area be right next to the entrance to that makes a lot of sense. Go watch the movie. So I think that is what I'm gonna do. I just googled I Won't Say I'm in Love garden. Now tell me why it's pulling up images from Dreamlight Valley as some of the first things that pop up. Literally the first 3 images that came up were from Dreamlight Valley. That's crazy. This game is affecting the ethos of the internet. That garden is pretty dark. I do like, there's like the little stepping stones that she hops across, and it seems like it's kind of like a sculpture garden type situation. So if we, only thing with these water pieces is that they're not great for, like it's hard to like cover up the sides. Well, I need another one of these. Uh-oh, I haven't come out of build mode in a while. I hope I didn't screw everything up. Oh, thank goodness. Everything saved. That could have been bad. Why are there so many snippets over there? There's like an army of them. They're plotting. That looks good. Just the view. Thumbnail? See, sometimes things look so much better like when you're actually in the game running around. So you just gotta trust the process. So there are a couple options for covering the sides of these pools. One of them is this fencing kit, the Edwardian one. So we'll start, only one side of these allows them to be flush. So then the corner piece, that's why I hate these. I remember now. The corner piece doesn't fit on the corner like this. So you have to do this, which looks not good. And they don't line up back to back, so it looks like that. See, like that could go like that, but then there's this side. Okay, so maybe I want them to line up like this. I have that little gap. So I think this might actually work. And then that leaves us with a little space on both ends that we need to fill in somehow. This is the only fencing in the game, other than I think the elusive stone fence that comes from Scrooge's shop that I still don't have. I think that might also go flush with these. But other than that, these Edwardian ones, which come from the premium shop, are the only ones that you can like fully hide the edges. Unless I'm wrong, if I am, correct me. But I think these are the only ones that can fully hide the edges of these water pieces. They don't do a great job because of the way that they handle corners, but as you can see, there's a few ways around it. Now I just need to figure out how to hide that, which I might be able to do with like a bush. There's a lot of hiding things behind bushes I've been doing in this build. It doesn't really hide it. I can't get close enough. So a lot of the stuff from Eternity Isle is only like 1 square wide. So maybe I can find one of those bushes that I can shove in there. It doesn't really hide. I mean, it kind of does. Is there a different one? What about these columns? How wide are they? Oh, those are perfect, actually. This can kind of make it seem like it was more intentional than it was. Or, you know what? These outer ones should be those statues. I prefer this one. The other one's too, like, the statue part of it is too small. I feel like it needs something in the middle. Yeah, I mean, there's columns all the way around it in the movie. We definitely need one of those statues, like the one that we have of Eric. We need one of Hercules. Because there is definitely one in that scene, and I'm not about to put Eric in this build when we have Hercules. What other statues do I have? They've got a graceful dancer. That's really it. There's probably more, I just don't have them in my inventory. Alright, we need to figure out what we're going to put as, like, the stepping stones. There's definitely a rock that can go in the water. Where is it? Is that the only one? Alright, well, it doesn't appear like there's anything that could go in the water itself, so we are gonna have to pivot a little bit, unless we did like lily pads. So we could do like individual lily pads. Does that exist? We could do this, like a little path across. That will have to do. A thought occurs to me after I've already gotten this deep. I could just split the water and make an actual usable path that I can walk across. For context of this recording, I have been sitting here in silence, finagling with this freaking garden for far longer than it took me to do the rest of the build. I'm hoping I didn't shoot myself in the foot trying attempting to be faithful to the movie, because that's not with the tools at my disposal, not necessarily going to be possible. Um, I thought about potentially doing like a stone path over here because that in the movie it's very similar to like some stone pathing we have in the game, but like then it wouldn't match the rest of this biome. So I don't necessarily want to do that. So I am trying my best to do this without having to be faithful, but to also keep it cohesive, which I think I have kind of done. I'm settling on this for now, but we shall see. And then on the other side, this path can like meet up with this path. And I'm out of sand. I was wondering when that would happen. Guess now we shall test whether or not Scrooge sells the sand. I'm gonna buy like 1,000 of this, if it'll let me. Jump cut to when this gets to 1,000, because this is gonna take forever. Okay, that was taking too long, so we're gonna do 250 at a time. I have to do it again. I need to be able to get to a high number way quicker, like just type it in. Why is 602 the max that I can buy at once? Whatever, that should be enough. I almost want to do like a little concession stand. We're getting too ahead of ourselves. We gotta map everything out first. Okay, pathing. That goes through her garden. We need a path over here to get to his house. I'm gonna make the pathing in his compound a bit more structured, just because like it would make sense that this isn't necessarily winding paths as much because he built this for himself. I say as I make a winding path to this side. This side would be kind of like another entrance, and this side would be more like this is his backyard. So I'm gonna put Pegasus over here. Okay, pathing wise, I think the biome is done, but I think I want to put this throne in here, like that temple where Zeus is in the movie when he like comes to life and starts talking. the muses I want over here somewhere because they were in that scene with Meg. There's that display column. I want to see if that will fit where these other columns are. Ooh, it will. Okay, game changer. So what if we put this? Oh, it's too big. Dang. Still probably going to use this for other stuff. Don't know what's going to go on these, but we'll figure it out. Just going to preemptively save this as a preset because I can see myself using this more than once. The way I typically like to do pathing borders is I plan out the places that I can exit the path first. So that would be like these rock formations like this. You can walk across those. So those would be places where like I can get off the path. The other thing would be like these ferns. Yeah, all these ferns here are all also things you can walk across these. One thing to keep in mind though with the Forgotten Lands fern, for some reason it can't be placed. Oh, did they fix it? Oh my god, they fixed it. You used to not be able to place this on a path. Well, now I want to test this with an old path. Used to be this was the only fern that for some reason could not go on a path, and it can now. This might be old news, but it is new news to me, so I am so happy about that. I'm not going to use this one in this build though, because it is an odd color. But I probably am going to use, I wish there was a yellow one, but there's really only this orange one, which I'll probably use. There's the Glade of Trust one, Plaza, and Forest. So I'm gonna automatically say no to the Forest. These other three aren't bad. I'm gonna say no to Plaza and go with this darker one. So back to what I was saying, these ferns and this rock formation are the main things that you can walk across. So I like to use them when lining paths so that I can have places where I can exit the path easily. And then if I'm running through these biomes and I find places where like I wish I could get out right here, I'll go back in and edit and put one of these in that place. But other than these items, things that I would line the paths with are like the actual bushes themselves, like these. I would also use rocks. I think the Sunlit Plateau ones are going to look the best here, but I'm also going to try some other ones like the Dazzle Beach rocks. So those are an option too. Yeah, I think I'm actually going to use Dazzle Beach. I like to make my rocks match, so I need the Dazzle Beach cluster of rocks as well. So we're going to go through and place these first. What I typically try to do with like short little paths like this one is have one exit on each side. And I know that I do this so that I know when I'm running, if I see this cluster, that's a place I can get out. I typically try not to put the clusters on corners like this because they don't fit together as nicely. So I'm going to put clusters kind of all over the place. And the reason I line my pathing is because it makes it feel more built in. If you were to not go through and line it with rocks and foliage, it would feel artificial to me. I try to do two together because just doing one can sometimes cause me to get caught on it when I'm trying to cross over it. Because usually I'm gliding around looking for things and I need to be able to get across paths quickly. And with these rocks, they're so easy to get caught on. So I try to make not only the path fairly wide, but also the exits from the path also pretty wide. These bushes by themselves are pretty fine. It's these rocks that are a little too small. So I do two of them. Can we, this group mode thing is killing me. I keep accidentally going into it when I'm trying to duplicate stuff because the buttons are right next to each other. Might have to do something about that, honestly. It's honestly going to look like I'm doing this really randomly until the finished product. I mean, I kind of am to a degree because it's supposed to look natural, but the goal is for this to fill in rather well and not seem as noticeably intentional. The reason I build path first is because that takes up a lot of space. So I build my big landmarks like his house, the temple, the arena, the garden. Then I do the pathing because that takes up a lot of the other space in the build. And then I can go back in and flesh out the details and the decor and the foliage once that's all in place, because I'm essentially just putting that in whatever space is left. So I want to get the big strokes in first and then be able to come back and add detail. So like now I'm comfortable with the amount of exits to the path, so I'm going to start putting in the things that I can't walk through that is more for decor purposes and visual. I also find these ferns are better for hiding like corners of walkways. It's also better to have something you can pass through on a corner because then you won't get caught on a rock if it's too much of a 90-degree angle. Something I don't normally do is put trees on pathing, but I think these cypress trees would look really good here, specifically this light green one and the yellow one. I'm gonna put a lot of those around. Maybe the other one too. No, it's like the wrong shade of green. I thought there was a new one. Oh, there is a new one. Ah, that looks good actually. They kind of look like lightning bolts, and I feel like that was the point. I feel like these are so much more vibrant than the other trees, and I'm almost like, should I not include these? Like everything else is more of like a pastel, almost, or just like a faded version of its color, and that is just, it's there. It hasn't stopped me from making presets yet, so there must be a pretty big limit on how many you can have, if there is a limit. I would assume that there is, but you never know. So because I saved this at an angle, I literally, oh, here we go. Okay. I was about to say it was not letting me. So you have to switch back into decor mode to not have this stupid 4-point rotation. See, once you go back into decor mode, you have the 16-point back, which is annoying, but at least it's a problem that is solved. I keep getting distracted from my task of lining the paths. So I'm like, ooh, that would look pretty. Let me put this here. I think it's because putting down the rocks takes so long, but it is worth it in the end for the aesthetic. I almost feel like I need to make this path more specifically like a garden entrance. I'll come back to that one. We'll do the other paths. I used to be very anal about like every square inch of the path edge needed to be covered. But I feel like if you cover most of it, your eye doesn't really notice that it's got a hard edge in some places. You don't have to put rocks the entire way around. Like just having enough stuff there to kind of distract the eye from it is usually enough. And this rotation that they added was a huge game changer for doing this quickly. It used to take so much longer to make it look natural because just of like trying to get the rotations right because you could barely rotate at all. And these ferns have one leaf that's like way longer than the others, and I try to use that to hide parts of the path as well, like this part right here. This is essentially what I'm doing to all the pathing, and this is pretty standard for most of my biomes. It's worked well. It's not really a process I'm planning on changing. I mean, if they add stuff like these rocks that are really good for lining paths with, I might switch it up from time to time, but like there really isn't anything like super small like this that creates such a nice like natural barrier that isn't like fencing, because the fencing does not allow you to do curved pathing. Like you can do it on an angle like a diagonal, but that is not curved. They have yet to figure out a way to have things not be a straight edge, and it's really difficult to deal with when most of your builds are in a more natural aesthetic and not like this super paved pathing. Like the idea here would be like people have walked these paths so much that like it's just sand now, and it's not like they intentionally built this to be a path. It just became one because this is like the way people were walking. That's kind of the goal. See, like even like on diagonals, the way that their grid system works makes lining things up a little harder. Like, see how having the rocks just gives this illusion that this path is like curved, even though it's not. I do not like a straight road. I am not straight, so neither are my roads. Like this corner here, I could tell that was going to be a problem later for getting through, so I'm putting that there in anticipation of that, because I feel like I don't want to have to deal with that later. So these new trees are only like 1 block or 2 maybe. So they are pretty customizable in terms of placement. I want to make these gazebos feel like they're like more like in a garden. I feel like the Frosted Heights bushes match. We just do like we alternate. Oh gosh, it's been a while since I exited furniture mode. I'm nervous. Okay. Oof. After you do pathing, it is the worst feeling in the world when the game undoes all your work, but it seems like everything's saved, so I really want to complete this ring, but the freaking mountain's hitbox is so big for no reason. I've decided that the two sides might not be symmetrical with each other because one, because of the way that the terrain is laid out here, but like also because I'm trying not to be a perfectionist about this and I want this ring of bushes, so I need to accept that they may not be matching on both sides. And that's okay. Not everything has to be perfectly symmetrical. This side is shaping up to be just about done. I'm honestly just going to delete this, see if I can just group mode this over here. Does it fit? It does not. So we are going to have to figure that out because I would like it to match on both sides. Yeah, we're going to have to bring it forward like we did with the other one. This gazebo is way closer to the house than that gazebo. So I'm like, do I shift everything over? And the answer might be yes. So to prepare for that shift, I think the group mode should help us here quite a bit. We're going to start here. Yes, now they're fine. So then I can shift all of this over, and that fixed the problem. So now I can bring this design. Doesn't seem like group mode works with foliage, so that's why I'm doing this by hand. There might be some slight differences between this side and the other side, but that is okay. If someone were trying to plant all this in real life, it would not be perfectly symmetrical, more than likely. This lining up is a good sign that we are on the right track. So I was recently diagnosed with OCD, and I think the way that I am a perfectionist about these builds sometimes makes a lot of sense now. Like, I could have let this be misaligned, and it would have been fine. And I even said I was going to let it be misaligned. And then I continued to just continue to try to fix it instead of just letting it be misaligned. But I simply could not let it stand. So we are getting it back in working order. There we go. Now both sides have it, and they're pretty symmetrical. So I need to add like a little bit of foliage right there, like a bigger piece. Typically this is what I'll do with these open spaces, is like unless I have like a thing I want to put in that space specifically, I'll just leave it as wild space. And that's something that you have to allow yourself to do sometimes because it makes it so that you're not putting too much in. Like you can edit yourself. There doesn't need to be so much stuff because you also have to keep in mind the item limit, especially with these later DLC zones. Like there's so much more space to build in, and the fact that I hit the item limit and still at the item limit for the main valley, and that is, I think, technically smaller than the square footage of space that we have in these new zones, especially Wish Blossom Ranch, and the limit is still 6,000, which is crazy to me. If you're going to make huge zones way bigger than the base game, we should have a higher item limit, but I digress. So you do have to consider that when you do have open space like this. Do I want to fill that and risk not having space, having the ability to fill all of my biomes? Or do I want to just leave some open space with some nice foliage to kind of fill it in, but without using up too much of your item limit? Because if you're anything like me, that item limit will sneak up on you sooner rather than later. I have my entire valley decorated, and I have almost all of the Eternity Isle decorated except for the wastes, which is actually a build video that I plan on doing with all of the new Star Wars stuff. And even an Eternity Isle, I'm coming up against the item limit, so it's definitely something to keep in mind when determining what to do with empty space. Like sometimes I'll put build these types of trees in because they have stuff with them on the bottom. One thing I don't love about them is that they're hard to navigate around. So maybe if I just do like one right here, and that kind of fills in that space pretty well. That also too, like if something comes up later that becomes an item that I would want to add to this build, I have the space to do that in. I could just get rid of a tree, call it a day. These two bushes kind of helped hide the edges of this path that didn't quite line up. I'm almost wondering if I should do the fern on this side too. That would actually, yeah, that works better to hide it. All right, let's focus on the mega garden. Definitely want to put rocks going through the garden to kind of symbolize the rocks that she jumped across in the movie. I don't think we have like a stepping stone item. Yeah, we don't. I don't quite know what to line this path with. I could put benches leading up to it. I actually have to do it as a preset. Where did my pots go? Didn't I have vases there? Unique item. Oh, you can only have one of these. And then I guess we're gonna have to make a moment out of it somewhere. I guess it could go in the temple. I would close them, but it would be off center again. I've kind of hit a wall. So I'm going to see what else Scrooge has that might get me out of this wall. I want a couple more of these. Oh, I hit my daily order limit. That's not good. Oh my goodness.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
I'm gonna buy like 1,000 of this. Alright, we're finishing the build with what we have. There really aren't a lot of flowers in the movie. For this little scene, it's a lot of just like statues, grass, and like some shrubs. So I guess I don't have to be as like persnickety about what I'm putting in here. Is this fountain a one of a kind too? Because I swear I had one on the other side. If it's a one of a kind, why are you letting me make a preset of it? Unique item. Why do they have unique items? What is this? Small marble fountain. Why is that unique? Anyway, what the f do you mean? It is not a unique item. It keeps saying that it's a unique item, that it'll move stuff, but then it's not doing that. Ah, yeah, it took the ones from over here. Did the whole system just freaking break? I definitely was able to do that. It's because of the Scrooge thing. I'm gonna buy like 1,000 of this. I can't buy more items because I'm out of Scrooge items. So I've been thinking about what I can add to this build to make it more like Meg, and I think if I put some amethysts on these pillars, that would be pretty. I don't know if I'm gonna do the shiny versions or the regular versions because they have made changes to the shiny version, so I need to go get some amethyst so we can see how it looks. Yeah, I think the amethyst is going to be pretty. I mean, also the tourmaline is oddly pretty as well. Actually, the spinel but I only have 6 shiny spinel. Yes, this is adding what I needed it to add. Shiny spinel would have been more Meg colored, but the amethyst will do. So that's done. I just need to kind of fill in the rest of the biome with some foliage. And I don't hate these. I do plan on there being a place where I can craft. I just don't have the crafting table yet. I believe it's part of a friendship quest that I haven't done. So I will be adding that back in after the fact. Probably just go like right here. Because I try to have a cooking station and a crafting station in every build, just for ease of when I come back and do things later. I always click on essentials thinking that it's seating because it has a chair on the picture. I really need them to change that. Kind of thinking like the muses have like a little section of the shrine for them. Once I'm able to do Scrooges, I will probably also buy some round benches to put in these 2 corners, but until then I can't really do that. I was going to put these clouds in more places as well. Did not think about that when I bought 1,000 sand. I'm going to buy like 1,000 of this. My bad. But I think this feels pretty complete to me. We've got Herc's compound over here. Got a big old temple to Zeus, and the muses have some representation. We've got the training ground and Meg's garden. And then once I'm able to get a crafting station, that'll probably go over here. I'm happy with this for now. The main purpose of the reason that I go out and build out these biomes is so that I can that's some nice stuff to look at when I am going through here, and it doesn't just feel like this waste of space. But I will give the full tour. We will come in as if we are coming from a different biome. Come up the stairs here. You come right up on Herc's house. There's one gazebo here. There's his house. His pool. Pegasus is over here. Come around to the other side. We've got another gazebo. And then we will head out this way. This is the little central drive area. with a sundial. Mike and fairy godmother are here for some reason. And this is the plaza with the fountain and wishing well. On this side, we've got our arena with the little workout bench for Herc. Our little statue of Phil. And then if you come around on this side, we've got our temple. It's got a little throne here for me, the god of Dreamlight Valley. And we've got our cornucopia over here, our vase to the muses over here. And then we've got Meg's garden to kind of represent that scene where she jumps across the little pond. Some benches and pillars and ooh, there's a rogue bush. And that is the Mount Olympus build. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider giving a like and subscribing to the channel for more Dreamlight Valley content. I plan on doing many more build videos. I need to fill out the rest of Storybook Vale, as well as all of Wish Blossom Ranch. If you like these videos, maybe at some point I'll do a valley tour of the places I already have built. But thanks for watching and see you next time.